Welcome to the Disrupt Now podcast. This is Natalie Viglione, your host, and this is season 2, unlocking the cosmic mysteries around New Earth magic. My desire is to bring conversations that serve as cosmic medicine for all of the sacred souls that seek the revealing of the magic and mystery of the organic celestial energies. I powerfully step in as a sacred vessel for the cosmic mother, or as we can say, the divine feminine energy rising. I walk an authentic druidic path of primordial tradition, and I am here to share wisdom and the highest truth for the betterment of all beings, animals, minerals, plant life, and all that is. Please join me on this journey to explore and awaken the magic again. Welcome to season 2 of the Disrupt Now podcast. So this season 2 is called New Earth Magic. Now, this is so interesting. When you create something, when you tap into the creative just brilliance that lives within the divine intelligence, and you're in tune with it, and you get these insights and messages and downloads, sometimes you don't see the full picture in the very beginning. So you're given like a glimpse of, this is something that you need to do. And then you step into that truth to build it, create it, develop it, harness it, grow it, whatever you need to do to the thing. But sometimes you don't know the full scope of where that thing is going. This is the case for Disrupt Now podcast. This is the case really for this whole entire ethos called Disrupt Now. So, until recently, in the last few years, I didn't quite realize the full power of what Disrupt Now means. Now I can honestly say that this power and awareness of disruption is absolutely necessary to create the next evolution for not only humanity, not for only Earth and its ascension process as is ours, or the living beings that are here, but it's for our entire galaxy, and its disruption is necessary for this entire universe and many universes. So, Disrupt Now, when I received the dream in 2017, and then I got things going later that year, and then really kind of launched things in 2018. It didn't really, the whole message and what was coming through didn't really take off until, I really stepped into how big and how important it is to find the medicine in massive catalysts that happen in our life. The catalysts are always these massive disruption points that push us up and out of where we were and into some new track, path, trajectory, whatever you want to call it. And if we really think about when something new came into your life that was a magnificent turn away from what was, even if the process was really difficult, we would all be, I would dare say, we would all be hard pressed to ever try to think of those moments or those times that didn't require massive disruption to totally transform ourselves or the situation into something new. And rarely does this transformation come without some kind of letting go. And for the third density experience that we live in, letting go is often very difficult because we feel like we're losing something. And we often forget that what we're actually gaining in those moments. Again, this is not looking into very difficult situations that require us to realize that, we've lived in a realm that has been hijacked. And this is just a truth that we all must embrace, regardless of whether we like it or not, because truth doesn't really require us to like it. It just usually is. It's often how we can learn something about ourselves where we like, oh, yeah, that's true. I don't like that truth, but it is true. And so therefore I must embrace it. And so it's with this essence that I introduced the New Earth Magick season. So as a reintroduction, Disrupt Now podcast is about saying no to the status quo, because if we don't look around and realize it is the status quo of this hijacked realm that has completely taken humanity away from the divinity in which they are, and it's taken us away from the divinity in which we live in, meaning the intelligence of all things, because we are one with everything that's around us. The animals, the trees, the insects, everything. All of nature. We are not separate. We are one. And if we can step into that truth, then we can really figure out that if we do not disrupt and say no to the status quo, then we're going to ride the status quo into the abyss. And I don't think any of us want to ride anything into an abyss. At least, I don't think so. I mean, hey, maybe some people, that's their choice. They want to go live in what we would call a hell path and want to ride it into the abyss. Well, that's different. That's a whole different conversation right there. But I'm really talking to all the humans that are being called into service to others, and the humans that are called into things like knowing they're a starseed, knowing they're an indigo, knowing they're a warrior of light, knowing that they're a worker of light, knowing that they're here for something that's just not figuring out some soul stuff. It's a mission, a purpose, it's a calling. Because not everyone feels that calling, and we always have free will. So the podcast in general has always been dedicated to helping humans embrace, transform, evolve through times of great change. And I've always done this through conversation and interviews with people who are doing something that's disruptive in some way that maybe others wouldn't exactly, not everyone's going to get down with, potentially, because again, when you are disrupting the status quo, there are those that are going to that want to hold on to status quo and don't want to let it go. And therefore you're taking their comfort bubble away because they're comfortable in chaos. They're comfortable, in this victimized place. They're comfortable in this place that keeps this patriarchy alive. And then there's other people like myself who know that it's never been right. that there's always been something wrong. And so I really always wanted to live and breathe truth, to find and connect with people that are being authentic, really being able to serve as a warrior of light, really. And a warrior, by the way, this is a whole other episode, but just to share real quick, a warrior etymologically, etymological, the etymology of warrior is that it's actually a guardian. It's a protector. And I'm going to save this rabbit hole for another episode, because it's fabulous to really learn the real root meanings of words, and going back as ancient of languages as possible. So, I really want to share wisdom that I've always see. The word channeler has been so hijacked. So when you are a clear source or a vessel for divine, you bring messages through, and that is really in its basic form, what a channeler is, right? So I've always been one. I've always done, but I do it through mostly automatic writing. And then I'll share my automatic writings, or I'll hear a lot of things. I am a seer. And so as a part of the lineage of seers, of Celtic, Druidic seers, it's a female lineage, a sisterhood. I see things at night. I've had visions for all of my life. And, in the beginning, I didn't have anyone to share those visions with, except, this one person. One time I really shared this really prophetic dream that I had for many, many years during my teens. And now I've put all those pieces together. Here I am in my mid-40s, and I'm just now piecing together exactly what that same dream was, over and over and over again, what it was really telling me, because I've remembered it this long into the game. And I was in my teens then. I think they started when I was 12 or 13, and they didn't stop for years, every night. So, I've always wanted to just live and breathe in the truth, like really getting into the reality of our reality, which is far more, it would have been far more magnificent had there not been some hijacking that has taken place, because that is true. However, right now, as many of you know that are called into this podcast, that we're in a very fast evolution. We're in the great shift. This is actually the great shift that our many ancients were speaking about. More so, not only speaking about, but more so drawing out in and also building mounds in the honor of this great change, this great shift. So part of this is that I've always wanted, to empower people to live the life that they want. Launch your mission, driven from a power that's within you. It's a multidimensional self-power, what we could call soul. So we're not getting caught up in this identity, because that really is when ego starts to take over, when you fall in love with your identity and forget about the multidimensional aspect of who you truly are. So all of these conversations that I've had, and there's been great ones, there's been all kinds of different conversations. Some have really, been really great moments of time, because, when you're having conversations, you're actually shifting things within you and within the person that you're speaking with. And then when other people hear, they can shift. So it's like you're speaking certain frequencies into the universe. And when that happens, that ripple of change really does have a profound effect if you look at it at like at the bigger picture, right? So now, I'm moving into this, it's like wanting to provide medicine for the souls, medicine for all our souls. And this time looking at it from a cosmic angle, because we are sacred souls. We have sacredness within us. We have divinity within us. And it's time to reveal the magic and mystery of all that is. And when I say that, it's all capitalized, all that is. Because this is direct to divine. We don't need mediaries. We don't need religions to be the mediaries. We have direct source capabilities. And we can tap into that at any time. And so what I want to serve as in this season 2 and beyond is to act as a bridge between realms, unlocking the organic celestial energies, because we are in what we can call a new earth paradigm. This is the shift into Terra, which is a 5D, fifth dimensional consciousness. And from a matter perspective, it's a fourth density reality, which is a very different vibration than third density. And when I look at everything that I've quote unquote channeled, I would say downloaded from my multidimensional spirit team, this is a lineage that's connected into the great white lions of Sirius, which Sirius, the Sirius star, the constellation, the home of that, they were they're part of the founder races of this earth, Terra Gaia construct. And I'm really connected into the Celtic goddess lineage and looking at the lineage of what wisdom that we're bringing through is the forgotten wisdom of the divine feminine, or we could call this the sacred cosmic mother energy. One thing about my reality is that when I was young and I was being forced to go into religious structures, churches that were speaking about a hymn, what I could never voice these words, but I knew something was wrong. We're missing something. And it made me really angry because I realized there was lies and deceits and misinformation in this religious, in these words, in the books that were being utilized. And so I didn't want any part of that because I knew there was a bigger truth. Now, again, I had no way to voice these words that I now can speak clearly in my mid-40s. So, we have to really, really understand that, and by the way, that's my new word, inner stand, because we don't stand under anything, right? We are one with all things. So when we understand that there's been a very big missing piece of the cosmic mother, of the divine feminine energy, then we can tap into this truth that, oh, well, now we can match and harmonize the two and bring back this harmony. And that is one of the reasons that I'm here. That's part of the mission. And also another thing that I'm on a path to bring forward is the primordial wisdom that the ancient druids and the Celtic druids and that lineage, there's a truth there that nobody knows, because everything that you read online about the druids being some evil, demonic, satanic, sacrificial type of thing is absolutely incorrect. And I knew this even when I was young. See, a quick story is I had a family member who, when I was speaking these words of not fitting in to their world, I saw a different world. And when I was announcing that I'm leaving, that I'm can't do it anymore, not only did that really make them angry, I actually got disowned around the same time. So that's a truth. And, it's all, I have no, I totally get where they were coming from their angles and their, what they thought would be right, when actually no one owns you, by the way. Hopefully we can step into that truth more and more, and help free many souls in this realm that have been trapped. And the Sound of Freedom movie coming out kind of shows that, regardless of all the craziness around that movie, there is a truth, right? So there's a lot of untruths and a lot of deception, and this is all part of the patriarchy. And so, I'm really here to say that, when I was leaving and I was this, somebody said that I'm a pagan, I said, thank you. This is before a time I even understood what it was, what, I don't even know why, but that's okay. Yeah, please call me that. Now now many, many years later, I've had a lot of automatic writing sessions. I've had tons of DNA awakenings and activations. I've had many, many, many visions at night, through my, higher dimensional, positive love light, beautiful spiritual guidance team. And they've shown me that, all of the things that have stamped out women, stamped out divine feminine, stamped out, druids and the Celts, and stamped out this cosmic mother energy. Really, ultimately, again, we're talking about a divine feminine, right? A sacred feminine energy. All the things that stamp that out, that stamp that beauty out, is the very thing that we now are dissolving. So Disrupt Now's big ethos, I now can truly say, is about dissolving the old to awaken the new. And what I'm calling this is also an awakening of magic, because my intent here is to share wisdom and the highest truth that can help better, it's for the betterment of all beings, animals, minerals, plant life, humanity. When we gain wisdom and we share it, that can make somebody else's life better, that is when we're really truly acting in the sacred art of sharing the magic and mystery of the unfolding of this bigger intelligence. This story is so much bigger. This has nothing to do with the Natalie person that's speaking right now. This is the soul level. So I'm just a vessel for information to really help, really, really, for all those that are ready to listen, my fellow indigos, my fellow star seeds, the wanderers that are here in this time to serve in some way. And, I'm getting my master, I'm doing a master herbalism program, because what I also know is that part of dissolving the old is also dissolving, the unnatural things that have been poisoning us for far too long. Natural health and healing is so, so vital. Bringing back ancient teachings that are about the law of one. There have been beautiful souls being born into this universe, onto Earth. For when I think of this, I hear about 150 years. Indigos and star seeds have been coming for that long to drop and bring in wisdom and vibrations that can act as breadcrumbs to this bigger truth, to break free from this hijacking that has taken place. This hijacking, there's so much controversy around, like, what is it, the true origins of humanity. But if we get down to this basic core of, these are beings that do not want humanity and Earth to ascend, meaning to evolve to evolve, to become and be really drop into the placement within the divine order that we actually were always created for. These are beings that want to hold us down, to really stamp out our love and light, the innate sacred beauty within us. It doesn't matter what they are. It just matters that there's humans that support that path. And there are humans like myself and many others who say, no, we are not going down that path. If you want to go down that path, that is your free will, but leave us alone and allow all of us that want to move on to get out, and you can keep going down your, destructive, deplorable paths. That is free will. It's even that reality when we think about indigos and star seeds that come here with a mission. We have free will, so we can say no to that mission. We can. When I heard my calling in 2016, when there was a massive timeline shift, I felt, and I've described this for 8 years since I stepped out onto my own path. I felt and I heard and I saw visions of my soul and my body starting to actually separate. And so what I received messages, they would, my team would say, you are being called. Do you want to do what you're here to do? Your mission, or you can keep going down this path, but if so, we're going to have to separate and dissolve this team, and you're going to be writing a new story for yourself, and for whatever that needs to look like. And of course I said, no, I want to do my mission, and I left big six, I've shared this story before, big fat paycheck, 6 figures, and just walked away to start my own thing. And that bravery and courage is a warrior. That is a warrior, because that is valor. And it's not like I didn't have fear, and it's not like there are days when there isn't fear there. But being a warrior, that energy is about always holding on to your truth. Really being able to stand in your power and say, I am sovereign, and I will stand in my power, and you can't take that away. Right? So there's courage, there's bravery. And there was some cartoon, literally this was on a cartoon, and it said, fear is a precursor to valor. And I was like, man, that's exactly it. And I've written a lot of things over the years, and in 2020 I was really called to build a whole site called riseupintruth.com, because what I realized is there are so many people that have, that don't have that, I've never not been connected to the divine team that I'm, and I think that there's, that isn't the case for everyone. Now, for me, I think, well, it's because there's blockages. And so this is another layer to all of this. This is such an important, essential time to unblock, because even with this direct connection, always receiving this information, knowing, ahead of time where I need to be, what I need to do, that doesn't mean there aren't blockages that I've had to go through. I mean, my past, when I first was launching into my life, I tried to walk the path that everyone else was walking at that moment in time. I got married, and I've told this story if you've listened to my podcast, and it was an absolute awful relationship. Neither one of us at that time could even tell you what unconditional love meant. And now I can. But at that time, it was like, we're very young, and being young almost doesn't even have anything to do with it. I was trying to walk a path that everyone else was walking, and I was never meant for that path. So some of us are in those space that if you try to do what everyone else is doing, you're going to suffer even more. It's not easy being the outlier. It's not easy feeling like you're not fitting in, so you kind of go in and out of things, and there was a long time when I barely let through all of the spiritual information that was coming in to me. I just didn't share it. It was kind of like my own thing because I never really, it's like, you don't really know if you're safe to share these things. Well, then there comes a time, which I am in now, which means, which is saying, and for me, what it means is I can speak exactly what is coming through me. And I know that not everyone's going to resonate, but some people will. And so again, it's kind of just stepping into this is me. And if people accept you, amazing. If people reject you, that's fine too. Honestly, because we are not here to please everybody. We are here to be our authentic true selves. And this path really did lead me into amazing discoveries and amazing things because here I am today with a beautiful family and my twin flame next to me. And that's when you know that every step that you've taken has been the right step. But when we feel that we're not stepping onto the right path, then that is the most beautiful time to be like, where do I need to disrupt? Right? So I'm really excited for this next, iteration of the Disrupt Now podcast because tapping into the cosmic mysteries, tapping into New Earth. So New Earth is this reality that the fourth density Terra is being birthed. And as that fourth density grows and births, we are supporting that journey for, this conscious being that we live upon. And we have a beautiful harmonic relationship with. It's going to be, so what Earth is actually going through is literally, it's a regeneration. It's a transmutation of old energies, dissolving the old, awakening the new, and rediscovering the magic that lies within the fabric of all creation. That is the beauty that I want to tap into in this season. And I'll be sharing, a lot of different topics, and we'll meander down this road together because no one has all the answers. But what we're actually creating is this, and I've said this for years, this beautiful mosaic. So if you think of a mosaic and there's all these different tiles, right? And all the different tiles are its own unique flavor, but when you see it in its true essence and it's finished, it's this beautiful, beautiful image. That's what we're creating together. And we're going to be feeling the bifurcation of those that are service to others and then those that are service to self. Excuse me. Service to self are the ones that are going to cling the hardest to materialism, greed, vanity. Actually, in fact, there's a whole new meaning around those 7 deadly sins. They're not sins. That's the wrong word. That'll maybe be an episode because that's coming up a lot for me lately is, the grasping this third density while it's falling away. Those beings that are going to hold so hard onto that, will ride status quo into the abyss. And those of us that do not choose that path, we have other options. And so, I'm hoping that these conversations can just serve as this cosmic medicine, as to see other pathways, to see into the mysteries, to peer into the pure and utter magic that literally is the original creation, the blueprint that we all hold within us. See, humanity is not the problem. there are certain humans that serve a very evil, the etymology of evil means cruel, that serve a very cruel path. And so we have to know that, again, there are options. So it's a time that we need to choose extremely wisely about who you think is taking you down the path that your sacred soul connects into. There's going to be a lot of breaking down of the veil. We are actually in the apocalypse because, as many of you've probably heard, the word apocalypse means unveiling or to uncover. So there's going to be a lot more truths that are going to be very difficult for some to hear. And there are other people like myself who have known for 20 years of this construct that just isn't true, that, I'm sorry, the government is not here for your benefit. And believe me, they don't want to keep you safe. Those are lies and corruptions. And so it's a very imperative time where we can explore, we can journey, we can awaken the magic again, and we can unlock higher levels of consciousness. And we truly can do that together by having these conversations. So I'm excited for season 2. I'm excited for where this is going to take us, because here's the reality. There's a lot of information that comes through. I have a book of all my visions. This is one of many. In the last 3 years, oh my God. I luckily I do have an electronic version now for a lot of it. So I got friendly and all this. Otherwise I'd have 400 of these. And my husband would be like, oh, we got to do something about this notebook problem. But anyway, I'm like writing furiously all the time because I'll have a dream and vision. And this is new information that's being dropped in. Now, this information is because of frequencies, because of the cosmology changing, because we are actually bridging between not only this fourth density, but we're bridging to other higher dimensions, and we're actually connecting into a primordial truth. So a truth that was here already, we're bridging into that. So this isn't all new. This is just that we are tapping into frequencies that were always there, but have been kept hidden and stifled through what I would say is evil technology, with a lack of a better word. And you're going to see a lot of this evil technology trying to poke its head through as if it's good for humanity. One of these things is AI. So again, choose wisely, because for all of us, we all need to be choosing extremely wisely. What are you giving your information to? Because yeah, it's really easy to see where lies and manipulations and corruptions have stifled the truth. But the great news, the great, wonderful, beautiful news is you cannot stamp out and hide the truth. The truth always finds a way. And honestly, for the first time in my existence, I can say, from the last few years, I can honestly speak this and say, the truth will set us free. The truth will set us free. Because the truth has already existed. It's the original creation blueprint that we're getting back to. Or we're getting back to is the only words that I have. But we do live in reality that is this is a whole other thing, but we live in an eternal now. So when we work with energy and clearings and work with all of this type of information, it's always in formation. So, we're riding waves really of energy is what we're doing, and frequencies of sound and such. So as this third density dissolves and this patriarchal enslavement dissolves, more information seeps through and comes into our DNA, and some of us are being activated to in our own unique missions, right? So again, there's all these pieces that come together to form this greater truth, which is the beauty of an apocalypse, right? So there's a lot to uncover, there's a lot to go through, and I hope that you go on this journey with us into season 2 of the Disrupt Now podcast. And just to share, disruptnowpodcast.com is the URL. And if you ever need to get in touch with myself or my team, with Emily, who is the manager of the show, you can email us at info@natalieviglione.com. It's super easy. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to the Disrupt Now podcast. Please leave us a review. Also, if you want to get these episodes to your inbox, go to disruptnowpodcast.com and you can drop your email in. You can also see all of the episodes since day 1. If you'd like to connect, we have a couple of different ways. You can join us on Telegram. The group is called Awakening Magick. Or if you want to drop a line, email us at info@natalieviglione.com. Thank you for being here on this journey to awaken the magic again.